Well, so far in the course, we've talked quite a bit about a number of different items. We started off with a really good question: what is ASP.NET and what is ASP? We went through a short history. Then we talked about what was different between ASP and ASP.NET. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the .NET framework, what it is, how it works, what's so cool about it. But in this video, before we go any further, I want to give you just a real simple example and kind of show you what ASP.NET looks like and feels like. Now, I've gone out and built a real simple page called WebForm1, and it has an extension .aspx. And of course, this tips off my machine, my server, that ASPX, that .NET is on the machine and it needs to be invoked here. Now, what I've done, I have Internet Information Server 5.0 and Windows 2000 server loaded on the machine. I downloaded and installed the .NET framework, and I got the SDK so I would have documentation. And so now all I have to do is open my browser, and I'm going to show you the kind of the quick and dirty version here. Then we're going to dig into the background just a little bit. Now, I've saved this file. I'm going to go through HTTP, and this is important. I can't just browse. I can't do file open and just browse out to that because the ASP portion won't work. I have to execute it through the web server using HTTP. So then I'm going to type Leesburg LT, that's the name of my laptop, ASP.NET Video, which is the name of the virtual directory that's on the web server. And then I'm going to ask for the name of the file that I'm looking for, webform1.aspx. Now when I execute this, it's going to go out, find the location, and I've misspelled it here, so ASP.NET Video. And notice, I'm kind of glad this happened. These are the kind of error messages you will see in .NET. Since it saw the ASPX, it kicked up a .NET error message for me. But and notice it tried to tell me where a problem was, and it found an error at the /, and I actually had this spelled wrong, and so that's what gave it back. So I'm going to re-enter this. And notice it went out to the web page, it found my file, and it came back, and notice what's happening here. It's just telling me welcome to ASP.NET, and there's a button, and if I click on the button, it changes to uClick. Now this is not the most effective web page out there, but I want to show you what we did to get it to this point. Now notice that if I do the view and source from the menu bar, that I can see the HTML code that rendered this page. Now notice I can't see the ASPX code or the ASP.NET code. Now, Microsoft generated this, so naturally there's a lot of extra stuff in here, and let me kind of point out the main things. Here's my HTML file. Here's the opening head tag, and it goes down to here. So this is the head of it. Here's the WebForm1 title right here, and you'll notice that appears right up here at the top. There's some generator code language and that sort of thing in there. And then here's where the body starts. And notice I'm using grid layout. And this means that I'm using absolute positioning. We'll look at that later. Here's where my form starts. Okay, and the form goes down to here. And then notice that it generated this for me, the input type, a submit button. Notice button 1's a name, the value is button, and it has an ID of button 1, and then it has absolute positioning information here. Okay, notice up here, we'll talk about this later, there is a hidden view state control here, and we will come back and look at that a little bit later. Right up here we have a label, and this is a label that created the text for us that says, welcome to ASP.NET, and then was changed to uClicked. And notice that once I clicked, there's uClicked, and so that's what appeared. Now, that's what happened in the background. Now I want to take you out to Visual Studio and let you take a look at what's going on here. Now this is the page in Visual Studio. And let me close the properties here so you can see this. Now notice when I brought up Visual Studio, I can code in 2 or 3 different places, and we're going to cover this a little bit later. But here's the HTML portion of my page. And notice I have an ASP label and an ASP button here. Okay. Now if I look at the design mode on this, I simply drag the button over here, like if I click and come over here and draw a button. Now I have a button there. That's exactly what I did to get this button. And then I dropped a label on. Then I went and coded to these things. On the page load event, let me close this. On the page load event, you'll notice I set the label 1 text equal to welcome to ASP.NET. That's what you saw when you first opened the page up. Then the label 1 text was changed to you clicked whenever the button 1 click event was raised. And notice handle, this handles button 1 click.